Warning! For those who haven't seen Inuyashiki Last Hero yet, and would like to, there are major spoilers ahead. If you have not seen Inuyashiki Last Hero, I would suggest watching it on either Amazon Prime or Crunchyroll before you watch this video. But if you don't have either of those services, well, you know where to go.
That's the sweat of the blues explosion. That's the sweat of the blues explosion. That's the sweat. I wanna, yeah.
Inuyashiki Last Hero is an anime about an old man named Ichiro who transforms into a machine upon supernatural occurrence. He is then tasked with saving the world from Hiro Shishigami, a young high school-age boy turned into a machine who becomes a vicious criminal. The show spends a large amount of time building up the tension between these two characters. However, in the show's finale, the two contrasting personalities work together to save the Earth from an incoming asteroid using their newfound powers. In this final episode, we see something very interesting happen. When Ichiro and his family are bracing for the incoming threat of an asteroid demolishing the Earth, they see President Donald Trump on a Japanese national broadcast where he says the following.
We used all our power. In 3 days, giant asteroid will crash into the Earth. Mankind is being tested as to how it will spend the remaining time. I've lived long enough. I even became president of this great land. I have no regrets. The rest of you losers can go do whatever the hell you want. There's no more price to pay.
Because of America's unwillingness to prevent an asteroid from hitting the Earth, the world accepts its fate. Luckily, Ichiro's altruistic nature inspires him to fly up to the moon to destroy the asteroid, only to be greeted by wanted criminal Shishigami. After some unnecessary filler, Shishigami convinces Ichiro to hit his self-destruct button to cause an explosion, partially diverting the asteroid away from the Earth. As he realizes that, shocker, the asteroid is actually still going to smash to the Earth after all, Ichiro must also hit his own self-destruct button to stop the Earth's impending doom once and for all. Now, when I first saw that Donald Trump clip, I laughed my ass off, and I'm sure you did too. But let's analyze this closely. This scenario portrayed in this episode presents us with two dilemmas. There was absolutely no other plan in regards to getting rid of the asteroid, and America refused to become involved in the destruction of the asteroid. Addressing the first of these two dilemmas, at first glance you would probably think no one would ever think about an asteroid hitting the Earth. Luckily, good old NASA has already accomplished a lot of the work for us. NASA currently has 3 different ways of making sure an asteroid does not hit the Earth. One of them is by using a gravity tractor, a large object that could attract the near-Earth object because of its pull of gravity, thereby pulling it out of the Earth's orbit and causing the asteroid to avoid it altogether. Another technique that could be used is by sending a large object, called a kinetic impactor, into the asteroid. While it would not destroy the asteroid, the kinetic impactor could potentially divert its planned course towards the Earth. The third way of stopping an asteroid, according to NASA, is by causing a nuclear explosion, thereby splitting the asteroid into tiny pieces. Those tiny pieces of asteroid would then be absorbed into the atmosphere. Now, I'm not nearly as smart as a nuclear scientist to figure out if this would actually work or not, but I think it would definitely be the most costly of the 3 options presented, considering it would warrant the most brainpower and the most costly input materials. Additionally, international organizations are also remaining attentive to the possibility of a near-Earth object collision causing everlasting damage. In 2014, upon the recommendation of the UN, the International Asteroid Tracking Network was created to intently chart the course of near-Earth objects. In 2017, NASA confirmed that their first tracking mission was a success. Using optical and radar telescopes, astronomers part of this mission were confident that Object 2012 TC4 posed no threat to the Earth based on its trajectory. I'm very surprised that the show failed to portray these factors. It would have made the humanity coming to its end plot point a little bit stronger, in my opinion. The second dilemma shows us that this entire theoretical scenario would have been avoided if the people of Earth pursued a plan to divert the asteroid's direction, which begs the question, Would the real Donald Trump refuse to prevent an asteroid from hitting the Earth? Many critics of Trump would point out that his nationalistic tendencies, everything from his comments on topics like trade to immigration, would provide a path for a scenario like this to happen. However, these comments contrast vastly with Trump's idea to create a branch of the military called the Space Force, which paints an entirely different picture of the president's view on this. A Space Force implies a larger military presence within the Earth's orbit, especially in regards to our enemies. This isn't to say that the Space Force seems foreign or even silly to many. An international treaty called the Outer Space Treaty, signed by the United States, the UK, and the Russian government in 1967, states that governments can only use space for exploratory and educational purposes. As this treaty is in place, however, there are many aggressive kinds of governments who are interested in using space for offensive purposes. For many years following the race to the moon and the Cold War, Russia and China have been subtle threats in space's peaceful existence. Just under a couple months ago, Russia and China tested anti-satellite missiles designed to hit US satellites out of orbit. Given this information, I'm surprised Inuyashiki portrayed the world as a body of people who somehow all decided that sitting idly by and waiting for the end of the Earth was a smart idea. If this were to actually happen, I would think that the US and other countries like Britain, France, South Korea, and Japan would cooperate to see that the asteroid is destroyed. I would also assume that China would assist in defending the Earth, given the amount of informal cooperation between the two countries. I would also predict that dictators of insufferable regimes would use this opportunity to invade their neighboring countries. This would provide an opportunity for them to gain power while all of these superpowers are busy figuring out how to destroy the asteroid. While this isn't directly related to the episode in Inuyashiki, it's important to know what the actual Donald Trump administration or the world might do given the situation, and if the situation described in the episode would end up happening. Perhaps the people of Earth should be more thankful for Ichiro's sense of gratitude towards humanity. If it weren't for a super mecha gear, the Earth would have been gone as we know it. But maybe, if the story were a tiny bit more realistic, we might have seen more of these kinds of scenes play out. I would have been interested to see how other countries would have interacted with each other during a worldwide crisis. I would have also liked to see what would have happened to economies in countries in this version of Earth. But perhaps Hiroya Oka, the writer of Inuyashiki, was more interested in exposing the characters and wasn't so interested in geopolitics like I am. I'm John Smith, and I'll see you in my basement in the next video.
Every night, I'm wild and the fire in her eyes.